Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Tanya Love Show. My name is Tanya Love, and I am so excited to connect with all of you today. Today is July 14th, 2014, and today is my brother Kenneth's birthday. So I just have to give a shout out to my brother and wish him a happy birthday. And hopefully I'll be able to see him soon in the flesh. So I hope every one of you are doing really well since our last connection. I remember our last show was all about synchronicity and what that is. And it was really interesting because this weekend I was at an art show all weekend and, with my fiance, and we were just selling our artwork and hanging out with a lot of different people. And I was doing angel readings, and it was really miraculous, all the different people that were summoned in for assistance and messages from the angels. And I just had some of the most beautiful experiences with people. One woman in particular had recently lost her baby, and she had Down syndrome and had a deficiency, something going on in her heart. And there was just so many beautiful things that came through in that reading. And one of the things is I was connecting with her. I was telling her that her daughter's spirit was very much with her and was like an angel to her family. And the way she left was very purposeful to bring an awakening to her family. And the girl started to cry, and she was like, "You're so right. She has brought so many connections of the family that were not connecting. She really helped create that connection through her transformation, through her releasing of her physical form." And as we were talking, I could feel her daughter's spirit there, and I was just, telling her that, you can talk to her anytime. She's with you, and there's no loss. Like, you're just not seeing her spirit because she's not in a form right now, but she's with you very much. And right then, this man was at the park where we were doing the art show, and he started playing the steel drum, and he was playing the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And right then the angels channeled through me that this song has very significant meaning for her. It's very relevant to her. And so I told her that. I said, the angels are saying that this song has significance for you. And so she was not then listening to me as much, but she started to tune into the music. And as soon as she knew the song, she started to cry. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, Tanya, this is the song I sang to my daughter right before she passed away." And it was just so beautiful. And I just wanted to share that because I love sharing testimonials of how everything is really just temporary. Everything is really illusionary. And all this form stuff that we get so caught up in is really not as important as we're making it. It is important to the level that we enjoy this manifestation that we're creating, but not so much to the point where if something shifts that we lose our connection with source and we lose our remembrance of everything is connected and everything is infinite and everything is expanding and evolving all the time. And on that note, I had a woman come in to my little booth, and she saw that I was doing angel readings, and we started chatting for a little bit. And she had told me how she had gone through some stuff in her life, and that there was a time where she was channeling archangels, and she was asking me questions about what I did. And so I was explaining and telling her how they called me into service, and I listened, and my life is very much about flow and synchronicity, and how it just changed my life when I stopped worrying about the reality and stopped worrying about what's going to happen, and I started to just trust and flow and feel my intuition and trust and honor what I felt, and to really give myself over for the light as an assistant to help in awakening humanity. And she, as she was listening to me, she was like, "Oh my God, you sound just like what I was going through about 10 years ago." And she told me that she had written a book, and she used to be very connected to angels and very much listening. And then she seemed a little sad to me. And I was like, "Well, what do you mean you used to be?" And she told me that there was a moment she had written a couple books and they were all taking off. Everything was really flowing. And suddenly her husband lost his job. And when he lost his job, she had to go and get a real job, and she had to go work in the world, and she just totally left that aspect of herself. She completely stopped tuning into the angels. She stopped connecting in that way. And after that, I saw she had something going on with her face. There was like twitching in her eye, and I could tell there was some paralysis from what I felt was probably a stroke or something that had happened. And as I was tuning in, sure enough, she had had physical problems. And then my fiance later confirmed that she went through a stroke. And as I was talking to her, I just asked her, because the angels were channeling through me, to ask her, what did she choose when her husband lost his job? What was her choice and her vibration at that time? And if she could tune in and remember that, did she choose the direction of her life from a place of love, or did she choose the direction of her life from a place of fear? And I asked her that, and she got quiet for a minute, and she just was like, fear, totally fear. And there was a very deep and important consequence to that choice that affected her physical health. It affected her life in so many ways. Well, as we were talking, I just hugged her and I was like, don't worry. You are still connected, and you can connect again right now just by opening yourself again, just by remembering who you really are again, and that you're not punished, and it's not like the angels are going to give up on us and they're going to hold a grudge. That's not angelic at all. It's not in my nature and the way I'm wired to hold grudges. We are very much about the balance and protection of the sacredness and the honor of life, but it's not in our nature, in an angelic being's nature, to want to cause harm or damage and to hold a grudge. And so for her to think her angels maybe were upset at her for not, connecting with them, was really more coming from her egoic mind than it is from the reality of truth of how angelic beings operate. And so I just kind of gave her a hug and just reminded her who she was, and to just start connecting again, because if she had these powerful experiences once, she could have them again, and that she obviously had a consequence to choosing fear. And so what was that lesson? Like, what did she learn? And so it's never about punishment. It's always about lesson. What did we learn from that situation? Did it strengthen us? Did it weaken us? Did it cause us confusion? Did it bring us clarity? Did it bring us compassion, understanding? Everything has the lesson. And so if we as humans can just be much more gentle on ourselves and start to really have compassion for ourselves and not judge ourselves. Maybe we did wrong to others. Maybe we've done wrong to ourselves for years. It's not about all that past. It's about releasing that past. And as a healer, that's exactly what I assist clients with, is helping them to shed that heaviness of that pain body, to shed the heaviness of that cellular memory that is sometimes conscious and oftentimes it's unconscious in them, and to clear that so that they can really come into these higher vibrational energies, which is where we're evolving to. And so I wanted to share that backstory because this woman obviously powerfully was channeling angels. She had a lot of amazing things happen to the point that it led her to write a couple books. And then something happened in her life that caused her to doubt, caused her fear. And what Archangel Ariel's been channeling through me lately is that there are greater tests coming to us as humans, and more of us are going to go through these initiations to either stick to the path, stay to the path, or to turn from the path in fear. And we all have our own stuff. Everyone's got their own energies that are coming in, and it's how you're going to handle it. Are you going to remember to stay centered in love and in truth, in your alignment, or are you going to betray yourself because of fear? Are you going to get caught up in the external world and telling you that there's not enough and connect and relate to a lackful consciousness? Or are you going to say enough of that and remember who you are and pull away from the external world and tune inward and feel the abundance and feel the aliveness and feel the health and wholeness into manifestation? We're literally being awakened to shift and feel our vibration to the level that we would like it to be. And there's no more room for victimization on the planet as it's evolving. That once very, honored and like we celebrated the victimization of things is no longer serving, and it's really not helping anyone. And so her to feel bad and to kind of withhold and think she couldn't do this anymore was her own shaming. It was her own ego trying to keep her down. And what I explained to her was that oftentimes what my angels have channeled through, and they're not my angels, they're our angels, but I just feel like my family, what they've channeled through is that often as a being is getting higher and higher in vibration, the lower vibrational energies will move in harder and harder to create pressure to try to knock that being out of alignment. So I kind of like to make references to movies a lot because movies are really powerful visual tools that we can use. And there's many producers and filmmakers, directors that are channeling wisdom and then creating films to help humanity awaken. And a couple of the films I love to reference are Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. These films are all a similar story if you really look at it. There's the light, and then there's the dark. There's the low vibrational energies. There's the high vibrational energies. And what will humanity choose? And it really comes down, like if you're watching Lord of the Rings, it really comes down to the moment at times where one choice in a direction out of alignment could have done everyone in. And it's really getting to that place on our planet where each of us are, I feel the angels are coming in so strong right now on our planet to help awaken the consciousness. And what they tell me is they're here to awaken the humans that are open, the ones that are listening, the ones that have suffered enough. And we have beautiful places we're going. We are ascending. We're ascending into these new realms. We are creating from a third dimension. We're going into fourth and fifth dimensional experiences and creating these realities that already really exist in another time space. And so a lot of us in our human minds, if we're very five sensory and we're just now starting to question things, the angels want you to remember not to be too hard on yourself if you're not able to really comprehend a lot of this. If some of it just seems like out of this world and it's blowing your mind, let it be that. Instead of resisting or struggling with it, just be open to the fact that something's blowing your mind, because I look at anything that blows my mind as an amazing opportunity, because it's showing that I am expanding more, I'm opening more. There's always been more, I just wasn't open to it. So it's kind of like everyone for a long time thought the world was flat. And until they got more and more information and kind of opened up their ability to even comprehend that the planet was round, they couldn't even see it. But it didn't mean it wasn't round. And so that's sort of like what's going on with our humanity, with humanity's shifts in consciousness, is that we are very much being given all this higher channeled information. We have angelic beings bringing in assistance all the time for this planet, sending healing to the very core of our earth and sending healing to all the humans, the animals. They're sending in this consciousness so that we'll awaken and realize our oneness, realize that we are so connected. And so if we think that we lash out and we hurt and we harm another to get ourselves in a better position, this is really insanity, and this is what our angels are coming in to awaken us to. And there will be a consequence to the behaviors. They say this to me all the time. We each will have opportunities to step in, to give ourselves to the light, to go into high vibration, what I like to refer to as alignment. When we're aligned with Source, we are one with the Christ consciousness or the unity consciousness, and that is where we thrive. That is where abundance resides. That's where magic and miracles, what we call miracles, but in truth, it's just us stepping into our power. We are all gods in creation. We are all awakening to our power. And so if we can for a moment just remember or tune into the fact that we're this spiritual being that's highly intelligent and we are experiencing a human awakening, this is more in alignment than I am a human being and I'm having some freaky experiences that are spiritual at times, that are kind of confusing and unclear, but really magical. We start to more identify with the human form when in essence we are spiritual beings. And we are enjoying this process of humanity awakening, all of us together. And the angels have sent in many on the planet, all across the planet, to awaken consciousness. Beings like myself, when I was 2 years ago, Archangel Ariel was channeling through me. And it was blowing my mind. And I often, when I work with clients that this stuff's happening to them in the beginning, I just encourage them to be gentle with themselves,